This is a quick overview of how to use the gradient tool in Illustrator. So you see a gradient toolbar over here on the left, and there's also a gradient palette over here. You're going to actually need both of these. So I'm going to click on my gradient palette, that'll open it. Notice that if I try to click my swatches, it'll just alternate between. So in order to see both of these, I need to tear it off from the side. And now I can grab my swatches and look at those too. If you want to use any kind of custom color, you do need to prepare it ahead of time. So let's say I wanted a slightly duller green here. I could take this new swatch that I've made, click from the swatch, move it over, drag it to my palette right here. Okay, so you could do that as many times as you want. To create a gradient, all you need to do is select whatever object or path that you are trying to fill, and then on the gradient palette, just click this black and white button. Now it might look different if you have a different one set, but the default is this black and white, and don't worry, we're going to change that in just a second. So we'll click that, and this will apply the gradient. You can see down here below, I have the two colors that right now it's mixing, white and black. We can replace these with anything we like. So if I want to take this green, I can click it, drag it down here, and drop it on top of the black. See that plus symbol? Now it'll become green there. So I can take any color I like and add or drag, replace what's happening here. I could make a new spot here in the middle if I like. Right? Now I'm going to go from yellow to blue and blue to green. Notice between each pair of colors there's a little triangle diamond up on top. That's going to adjust where the transition happens along this section. So if I move this diamond to the right and I move the green one over here to the left, I'll get a much skinnier stripe of blue as opposed to a half and half mix. So you can make whatever adjustments you want right there. If you end up adding swatches that you decided you don't want, you can just click and tear them off, and that will delete them. And this can be any color you can transition. You can also actually adjust the opacity here too. So if I want this one to be a paler, right? See how it's fading now into a 10% blue. So you have some adjustment there you can do as well. We can decide if we want a linear gradient or a radial, as in a circle. Okay, and we can decide what angle you want. So you can either just decide here or type in your own angle, but this is actually where the tool is going to come into play. So if I click now over here on the left side, my gradient toolbar, this will put this kind of sliding bar right across my object. So I can rotate here in place and move and otherwise adjust where this gradient lives. Okay, and notice here if I hover above it, you can see that blue, the triangle in the middle, and the green. So you can make your adjustments right here on the actual object as opposed to over here. They're both doing the same thing. It just depends on where it's easier to work, and where it's easier to work might depend according to the situation.